spot is sponsored by Passionate Words Editing Services. At Passionate Words Editing Services, words are a writer's currency. We help you spend them wisely. For all your editing, proofreading, transcribing needs, follow at Passionate Words Editing on Instagram. That's at passionate.words.editing on Instagram. Or on Facebook, facebook.com/passionate words editing. Let's help you spend your currency well. Follow Passionate Words on Instagram or Facebook now. In this segment, I want you to get comfortable because the words may move you. They may inspire you. Who knows? They might even make you wet. So sit back and listen. Instantly wet. She said I wrote things that made her instantly wet. And my smile could rival the sun's. For I imagined my words making her womanhood tingle with the dexterity of guitar fingers plucking her G-strings. And imagined me whispering probing poems, pushing past cotton barriers to flood her insides with desire, involuntarily moistening her gusset with my thrusting syllables. Oh, she loves when I write things that make her instantly wet. Like when I describe the way my tongue chases her implosion with circular strokes, making feminine nature stand at attention, peeking from beneath hooded restraint, and matching the pinkness of her sudden thong that melts under the intensity of my poetry. I want to make her instantly wet, so I craft my words to match the vibration of my voice that spells Hitachi with every hum of my baritone, making her press into me with the craving need to release. And when she does, feel her flood both her mind and her thighs with my scribe instantaneously. She said I wrote things that made her instantly wet, and my smile could rival the sun's, for I imagined my words making her womanhood tingle with the dexterity of guitar fingers plucking her G-strings. Good morning. Welcome to the Wett Spot by PassionPoet. In this segment, we want to have, we're having a guest, and we want to talk about sensual empowerment. We want to talk about female sensual empowerment. As women are my main target market, I want to bring topics that will inspire and well, basically to inspire you. Basically, I want to bring a topic that will inspire you, that will help you, and will make you feel much more feminine, much more sexy, much more wet. And with me is Katrina Ifill, the Creatrix of Orgasmik Intelligence, and she is a female empowerment coach, a female empowerment leader, and I want to give her a chance to tell us about who she is and what is emotional intelligence, orgasmic intelligence. And hi, Katrina.
Hi, greetings. Thank you, PassionPoet. Thank you so very much. It's an honor to be a guest on your show, The Wett Spot. The title alone just excites me.
That's the plan. That was the plan. You know from listening to my work that I always love to bring that essence, that orgasmic essence, into everything I write. So you were the first person that I thought of when it came to interviewing someone for my show. You were the first person that came to mind. So So tell us who Katrina Ifill is and what is orgasmic intelligence. What is a female empowerment leader? Tell us a little about you. Tell us about you.
Okay, well, I am fully and unapologetically an orgasmic woman, first and foremost. And I'm actually a mother of 4 as well, so I have 4 beautiful children. And yes. I have taken myself through a journey from being a victim to a victor. Right. Using these techniques that I have incorporated and built together, actually compiled into the system, the way of life, the concept called orgasmic intelligence. And orgasmic intelligence is simply using your 6 senses and your sexual energy to heal and empower yourself. So I mentioned 6 senses. So some of your listeners may be saying 6, but there are only 5. Well, actually, the 5 senses you're aware of, you have the sight, the taste, the smell, the touch, the hearing, and the 6th sense is that intuition, which especially as women, we are very naturally extremely intuitive. However, we do not pay attention to or follow that intuition as we should. Men are intuitive as well. The thing about men is that they follow their intuition. We women tend to doubt our intuition more than men doubt theirs. So using those 6 senses and your sexual energy to heal and empower yourself. When I'm speaking about healing, it may not necessarily be a physical wound, but a traumatic situation.
Yes.
Some kind of emotional damage, a loss of a relationship or a family member, someone close to you, even enduring sexual abuse as well, needing to heal from that, needing to heal from some kind of womb issue, so fibroids, endometriosis, heavy bleeding and cramping during the cycle. Also, simply just to elevate yourself, become more aware of yourself as a woman, tapping into that womb power, because that source, that's our power source as women. Just being able to live from your power source, from the inside outward, stepping into your power and feeling simply more orgasmic. And orgasmic, I've coined the term orgasmic intelligence, but the word orgasmic, it really is what I've done. I've expanded or stretched the whole notion of what orgasm is. So orgasm, normally when you hear orgasm, you think of the genitals. However, with orgasmic intelligence, and that's orgasmic, with a K, intelligence, orgasmic intelligence allows you to realize that you can experience that same euphoric feeling through opening and expanding any one of your senses, all of your senses. However, it requires slowing down. And
that's hard. That's the hard part, slowing down.
Yes, but we have to slow down because we're both, all of us, male and female, we're made up of that masculine and feminine energy, which is naturally our makeup. But however, because we live in such a masculine world, especially in the Western hemisphere, we're always using that masculine energy to do the feminine energy is about being, and that requires slowing down.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying for us women, it's even harder because the masculine energy is pushed so much that we tend to neglect cultivating that feminine energy. So that's in a nutshell, orgasmic intelligence and what I do as a sensual empowerment leader. So I take you through cases to help you feel better about yourself, heal, and also tap into that sensual way of living. I also help women with womb issues, pelvic floor muscle issues, so anything to do with the womb space, the vaginal canals, so women who suffer from low libido or think they are not experiencing orgasm as they should. That's the brunt of what I do.
Well, that's a lot, and it has opened up so much questions and in my mind. Well, first one is we focus. You made mention that men and women have both masculine and feminine energy. So, can a man tap into this orgasmic intelligence as well?
Of course, PassionPoet. Any human can tap into it. It's just a matter of knowing how. First and foremost, understanding what orgasmic intelligence is, and then knowing how to tap into it. That's the second stage, and then taking the time to do what needs to be done to help you not only tap into it but hone it.
Yes.
To really, live it like this naturally, let it come naturally.
Yes, and I totally understand that, because another thing you made mention of is that or hinted that the sensuality has a spiritual element to it, and for me, I always tell people that my worldview shifted from just being a Christian worldview to being I don't think I have a word for it specifically, but I definitely know that in my lifetime and in my heart, spirituality and sexuality and sensuality are linked together. It is the same energy. So I mean, it's great to hear that, because I know having the females listening, the women listening, will definitely want to hear more about how to tap into this. You made mention of these techniques where you created them to help you through your own trauma and from victim to victor. And I want to commend you firstly for tapping into the source and getting these techniques that could help yourself, but also expanding to help others, because as I mentioned in the previous podcast, the erotic empire is not about the male gaze at all. My goal is to create a space they'll be able to bring women into that safe space, because as you say, women are the crux of humanity, and I know they will be grateful to hear more about this orgasmic intelligence. I wanted to know, in light of your own coming out of your own traumas, how do you think would benefit? How do you think the orgasmic intelligence techniques will benefit people who have gone through things like the Me Too movement and the Life in Leggings movement here in Barbados? For those who are unaware, Life in Leggings was coined here in Barbados as well, but it became a global phenomenon where women had the space to open up and express for things that were pressed down that they did not share for a very, very long time that had to do with sexual harassment and trauma and all these different things. I remember, I'll get into that in a minute, but I know for sure that when I started hearing how difficult it was being female in society, I was shocked. So how do you think, having women have more access to your techniques will benefit them in what way? I know you've mentioned the sexual trauma earlier.
Yes, Robert, that's a very good question, because as far as I speak specifically to Life in Leggings, because that there was caught in here in Barbados, as you mentioned, and is a regional movement, which then also, I believe, sparked the Me Too in some sense. And having those platforms to speak out, I think it's great. It's extremely good that women were able to speak out about what happened to them, to vent. And then the next step, which I found was missing in the Life of Leggings, is the women now to actually heal from them. So being able to speak about it is one aspect of the healing journey, but then actually taking the time to either seek counseling if necessary, start your own self-work towards self-healing. That's what I found was the missing link. So the techniques that I offer help women first understand that it is not their fault that X or Y happened. Okay? It also helps them to take the time to be extremely gentle with themselves as they go through this healing journey, and recognize that it is not a magic pill.
Right.
It's just something that is going to be difficult at moments, but at the end of it all, through the ups and downs, there will be joy. There will be joy. I specifically was a victim of an abusive relationship for 4 years. And I use my techniques to heal myself, not only heal myself from that abusive relationship, but also to remove myself from that abusive relationship, and then started the healing journey from there. And the healing journey was not something that in a month I got it done, but what it is along the healing journey, I was able to recognize when I was stepping into what could potentially be another abusive relationship. And even if I was already in that relationship and I realized, oh no, this is not what I desire, what I really deserve, I was very quick to remove myself. So I didn't allow myself to stay in it for over a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like how I did in the past. Right. But I realized, okay, well, this is not what you need. And I had the courage, because of that active self-love journey I had started, the active healing, to remove myself. When I was in my abusive relationship, I didn't have the courage to remove myself because I lacked that fierce love for myself. Right? Because we oftentimes will say, I love myself, but we don't actually do what we, exhibit that we love ourselves by doing what we need to do.
Yep. Agreed.
That self-love.
Agreed.
So it's a process. It's a process, but the techniques do work with other clients. But definitely starting with myself, so that's the starting point for me. But seeing other clients who work at it, but it takes time. That's the thing, yes. And we are living in a microwave kind of immediate, fast-paced society. So, unfortunately, women, especially women, we're not taking the time. But PassionPoet, I must say that the tide is swinging. We're finding women, they're speaking more about the self-love, and they're taking the time. It may be a little choppy, but over time, it gradually takes time, because it takes unlearning to relearn. So that's a process within itself. And then staying on the path, but most important, remaining gentle, being gentle with yourself. Even if you come off the path for a few days or what, don't beat yourself up. It's a process. The techniques help tremendously.
Yes, for sure. I will say I'll say that I have had to do similar things. In terms of learning self-love, when I coined my moniker's PassionPoet, and I was coming out of my own. It wasn't an abusive relationship, but it was a divorce, and it was traumatic for me. And I had to learn how to love myself, and I had to learn that I mattered, and I was worthy by myself, and it wasn't because of anything that I did or didn't do or anything, and I had to learn that. So self-love is the basis for growth. Self-love definitely is the basis for growth.
Yeah, so, and how you love yourself is the foundation upon which will determine how you deserve to be loved by anybody else.
Agreed. Yes, I mean, you, as people have said to me, what you allow will continue.
Mm-hmm.
What you allow will continue. So if you allow people to mistreat you because you don't love yourself enough, that's what's going to continue. And then when you actually stop and break that cycle, you're going to lose people who were considered quote unquote friends, but were their friends in the first place. And then when you grow and your roots take root, you will find people that will come and will help you along your journey. So yeah, definitely. I really am glad to hear that women are taking that the tide is turning, that women are actually engaging in more self-love. I know for sure men need to do the same, because we may go and be all in the masculine, but we need to learn to slow down too.
Yes, very true.
We need to learn to slow down too. So I definitely.
But you men are actually better than slowing down than we women sometimes, because you men take time for yourself.
Really? Well, that is true. Well, for sure, I know we can all use more. We can all learn to slow down a bit more. People who don't live in Barbados think, they come to Barbados and they think it's nice. It's a place for them to calm down and cool off. But that's because they're coming for vacation. We live here, and we have to keep doing. We keep hustling to keep going forward. So you always need to learn to slow down. So definitely. So
yeah.
What?
I just want to make a quick mention as well too regarding the Me Too movement, an aspect of it where there was a lash out, and I strongly believe in harmonious balance, that yin and yang, that spirituality and sexuality, that harmonious balance. And for me, before I started this self-love journey, I used to get, and this is a thing that happens in the Caribbean a lot, where men will make those call out to women, the feats and sound, the whistles, and wanted to compliment a woman or comment on how a woman looks or what he would like to do with her. And before I started this self-love journey, I used to get the most lewd calls from men.
Wow.
And it really disturbed me. But when I started to do this self-love journey, active, and I refer to it as active self-love journey, I realized that things change. The whole energy, the dynamics with a man calling out to me had totally changed, to the point where the last time a man called out to me, he said, "Goddess."
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like a mind shift, and recognizing that even if this man does call out to you, whatever he calls you, whatever it is, beneath all of that physical, beneath all of what he said, the words, beneath all of that, it's just the masculine divine being naturally attracted to the feminine divine.
Exactly.
Right?
And
that's a spark of a chi. That's a strong spark of chi that the woman can choose to just incorporate that chi into her body. And this is something that needs to be learned, of course. Right. She does not need to respond to him, right, but understand that is a chi that she can hone and bring into her being to empower her. It's not that she needs the man calling at her to feel empowered, but it's the chi energy. And we need to look for those moments where there's high energy to help fuel ourselves. It's an art.
Well, I totally understand what you mean, because I'll say that as a man, I can relate to the men who say what they have to say with the language that they have. When they're saying or they're calling out to women, even when they're being lewd, underneath, as you said, there is that they're trying to give a compliment. They're trying to give the compliment in the way that they know, and some of it leaves a lot to be desired. But that is the reason, because underneath all of that is a genuine wanting to show this woman that she is attractive. I find you attractive. That, again, because of how when the woman reacts in a way that they don't like it or they ignore it or whatever, the men get offended and then they lash out. No, that's not right, and I'm not saying that is right, but I am saying that they lash out because they're genuinely trying to give this woman a compliment and she isn't taking it. But if both sides could see that it is the masculine, the divine masculine, doing what he is known, doing what comes naturally, and calling out to the divine feminine, it will make things a little easier. Now, I say that from the point of view that I write erotic poetry. I write erotic poetry, and if you do not know me, you will think that just reading my work, I'm all about just the superficial and the surface. So I am just another one of the guys calling out to the woman, just that I'm using poetic language instead of just seating and calling her crude names. But underneath that, as I've always said, underneath that is my way of just telling you as a woman how beautiful you are, how adored you are. Right? And so I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yes. Part of a woman's power is the subconscious world. We women actually have the ability to just shift so many things just in our subconscious world, just subconsciously making that switch, that paradigm shift, that way of thinking shift. I had clients that everywhere she turned, whether she lived in Barbados, she now lives in another island, wherever she turned, she would find a man just in the corner jerking off. Right? And when she went and she came and she did my workshop and she went through the mind shift, she doesn't have that anymore. So it's not that you are consciously attracting certain things, but understanding that a shift is all you need in their subconscious world to make your reality shift as well too.
Wow, that is powerful stuff. That is powerful stuff, because I don't even have any words for that. That is powerful stuff. That to know that you as a woman have the ability to shift in your subconscious and craft, in a sense, craft your reality. That's powerful stuff. I know for sure that, women are the crucible of creation, but it's not just physical creation. It's not just birthing babies, but it is birthing ideas and birthing. Basically, I've been told once that what have you give a woman, she will multiply.
Birthing life on many facets, exactly. Many levels.
Whatever you. They're I guess I would say envious or jealous. I don't even know the words, but I know for sure that men feel away using major parlance. And we use major parlance a bit. Men feel away when women seem to be quote unquote taking over and doing all this stuff. But I like the fact that what you are proposing is a balance. Because the yin and
harmonious balance.
Yeah, that harmonious balance. You can't have one without the other, because you need to have that. You need to have that masculine energy to push forward, to get things done. But you need the feminine energy to sit back and to create. And to create. So, like for me, doing poetry and doing my other stuff, I can't write. To write has to be a womb space. It has to be a womb space, complete silence, and I can just tune in and let the creator work through me to write what I'm writing, whether it be a poem or working on my novels. So yeah, I totally get it. Well, thank you so much, Katrina, for being a part of the Wett Spot today. I wanted, before ending off, I wanted to ask, what happens in a play shop? You call your workshops play shops, and men aren't allowed. So I'm curious what goes on behind the scenes in a play shop.
Oh, with the Glowing Goddess Play Shop, yes, as you mentioned, it's for women only. And women, it's an opportunity for women to immerse. It's a full day workshop where they immerse into themselves, and we come together and bond as women. We learn, we unlearn to relearn.
Right.
We look at the female reproductive anatomy. We discover some new and exciting things about her. And when I say new, I don't mean new as in like new to this world, but just new to the women, because there's information out there that I would say 99% of the women that attend are not even aware about.
Right.
And so they're just totally wowed. And what I really love about the workshop is that some women, although they've signed up for it, at the beginning, I can see, there's this little hesitation, there's this little skepticism. But by the midway of the workshop, I could see a shift. And by the end of the workshop, it's like a complete overhaul. And they're like, oh my gosh, just the ability to take time to relaxing techniques. We also look at the techniques of the yoni egg,
right,
for women, how to use it effectively for maximum benefit. Oh, it's a lot of exciting, relaxing. It's an opportunity for the woman to immerse into herself,
yes,
to birth a better version of herself.
Well, that is amazing. You and I have been friends for a very long time, so you know that I have complete love and respect for you, and I love to see what Orgasmik Intelligence, Ways of Bliss, everything is doing for the world, because here you focus primarily on women, but in doing so, you shift the world, you shift the society one woman at a time. So PassionPoet salutes you, and you know what I say when I like things. You are passion endorsed.
Thank you. Thank you so much, PassionPoet.
Let us end off by letting people know how they can contact you, what they can get from people who are listening to the podcast in Barbados, what they can get, or for the people who are living from overseas, how they can contact you, what services you offer and stuff like that.
Okay, well, my major product is the yoni eggs, and those are used for vaginal toning and agility, and you can find those on my website at myoniegg.com, and there all of the eggs are gemologist certified, and we have a beautiful new edition of the glass yoni eggs that are actually made in the beautiful island of Barbados.
Wow.
So they have the energy of the sun and the sea and the breeze and everything just beautifully mixed into them, in a sense, energetically. And on our website, orgasmik.intelligence.com, we offer coaching. I do the sensual empowerment coaching online as well, too, so we don't have to be physically in the same space. I do workshops, I do certification courses as well. And we do vaginal steaming. We offer female pelvic evaluation, and lots of love. We do free workshops and webinars as well. Nice. Go on to the website. You'll see when events are coming up. Orgasmik Intelligence. You can find us on IG and Facebook as well. Remember, it's Orgasmik with a K, Intelligence.
Well, thank you so much for being my first guest on the Wett Spot. And I know that those who are listening will be enthralled to hear everything that we have been discussing today. And I'm looking forward to seeing more traffic come your way from this, from this, because it is necessary. I'm sure people are going to have questions. People are going to have, people are wanting to learn more. So any information that I have that comes to me will be passed on to you as well.
And you likewise, PassionPoet. I look forward to you getting increased traffic as well.
Yes.
The abundance is there for all of us.
This is true. All right. And thank you, listeners, for being a part of the Wett Spot for another podcast and episode. And we will see you later. Before we go, let us leave you with some words of inspiration to inspire you to have a great day and a great week. The light inside of you is greater than all the darkness in the world. That is a quote from Andrew Womack. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me on the Wett Spot. My name is PassionPoet. I hope to see you again next time. Let's get wet.